Last time we played it with this like green splash for Haywire Mite, we 4-1'd with the green splash, and I've just been kind of itching to try the trash again. And Tope 5 months, thank you. 3 with the 14. Let's change the title real quick, and then I will also try to find those arcane proxy drafts for us to talk about while we play this. So maybe we get like lost in the sauce and do a brewing stream, huh? Okay, gotta mulligan this. Can keep this on 6. Put back the second engineer, I think. Posing Giganta deck. For all of the Unmarked Grave fans and Reanimator who want me to play Unmarked Grave in the deck, at least Engineer blocks blocks Ragavan, huh? I do think that playing Unmarked Grave dilutes your game plan too much. It's like much worse than Goblin Engineer. It's much worse on your mana. I think it's just not where you want to be. It is nice with Ovalchase Daredevil. I think that's like the main thing, though. Nice. Mechanized War could be a little too costly at 3. Mechanized War. I don't know what card that is. So maybe playing as Jund Saga here. So a discard spell on my Fable would really get me. Oh, this is a sacrifice shell. Okay. Interesting. If a red or artifact source opponent you control deal damage to opponent permanent, it deals that much damage +1. Yeah, I remember that card was kind of on my radar going into for Brothers War. It's pretty interesting. I definitely think it's interesting. It's one I haven't put like much thought into, really. Okay, Mayhem Devil's pretty scary. Okay, I do love having Trash for Treasure. We don't currently have an artifact in play. We can get one with the Asmo. And pretty unlikely to just be dead. Could maybe Trash for Treasure the Sundering Titan, although the Portal to Phyrexia can bring back the Sundering Titan, so it should probably be that one. Streamdecker should be up to date. It looks like it is. Good morning, Bada. I literally can't believe they're letting me block like this. This is like the most obvious block ever. This block does not favor them at all. I mean, I am about to Portal to Phyrexia, but my Asmo was dead anyways. Wow, a second Trash for Treasure. And then next turn, we get to discard the Sundering Titan, return it with the Portal to Phyrexia, kill 3 of my opponent's lands. That'll be pretty sick. My Reflection is likely to be dead, though. Do you think any of the Shape of New lists have legs with Portal? I've been working really hard on Shape of New lists. I got very stuck last night, but I feel like I'm close to... like, a breakthrough. Especially now that, like, my nose isn't all stuffed up anymore and my brain is starting to work again. I think it's likely that I'm going to be able to, likely I'm going to be able to figure something out soon. I had a couple lists I was very close to. I wish I had my list a bit more organized, but again, I've just been, like, stuffed up and just not been at 100%. Yeah, we started off with the Reanimator deck. It was kind of classic Reanimator, though. Like, run into some main deck hate, run into, like, lots of sideboard cards and lose 2 matches. Which is kind of why I just wanted to be pivoting to the the deck that plays Haywire Mite. Wow, 3rd Mayhem Devil. Holy shit. I wonder if I'm supposed to Asmo this turn. It just has to be the Sundering Titan. I guess I can... Hold on. I can reanimate Asmo with the portal trigger, and then I could just trash for treasure the Sundering Titan. I took your advice about deck selection. What was my advice? I can't remember. Play something proactive. I mean, blue-white control is very, very good, but... I do think blue-white players like you could get kind of stuck and just play the same thing over and over again. Okay, so presumably dead Asmo. Bro, do something. Do say kill my Asmo. Okay. They should have sacked their Bobble too for a trigger. Sacrifice is definitely a tricky archetype to play. Oh no, and so is this. I forgot to discard my stupid Sundering Titan. Dang it. No. Okay, sorry. The whole thing. The whole thing. I forgot to discard the Titan. Okay, we're still doing pretty good on this board at least. We can, gain 3 life. We can reanimate this with the portal next turn if we want to. Although it's maybe just better to get Asmo back. And then trash again next turn. Yeah, creativity's great. I knew you were gonna drive with that. So they don't needle. I think game 1 needle is pretty unlikely. They're also like, are they gonna needle Underworld Cookbook? Because they probably have that card in their. Oh, I guess maybe they don't have that card in their deck, but they might. They might. Okay, I think I'm supposed to reanimate the Asmo. And then trash or treasure the Sundering Titan for real this time. And you tried Recruiter. I tried Recruiter a little bit in Yawgmoth, and I always thought it had, they just could see before I could do anything. I always thought Recruiter had like a lot of potential, and I probably didn't playtest it as much as I should have, but it was a card I always thought had a lot of potential. Okay, so let's bring in the Platinum Emperion. I think because their deck likes to sacrifice creatures so much, maybe I'll just cut one of the 2 portals. I definitely want these Haywire Mites. I've been cutting the Dragon Engine a lot, and I really haven't gotten to playtest it very much, and so I was kind of thinking today I wanted to try to make it a point to not cut it as much, although I kind of feel like I'm still just want to cut it here. Got an Amber, an Engine, a Fable, and a Mutt. Seems fine. Seems totally fine. Yeah, we played like 3 matches of the Arcane Proxy list. It was kind of classic Reanimator. Ran into main deck Endurance, ran into like Prowess with multiple Flusterstorms and lost. So I was kind of just wanted to pivot instead of having, a morning all like that, if that makes sense. And I have some other Arcane Proxy ideas that aren't fully fleshed out yet, so I'll try to flesh out for the next time I register Arcane Proxy. Main reason for Haywire is Rest in Peace. Haywire is great. Haywire is great. I would not say that is the main reason, especially because there really aren't very many Rest in Pieces in Modern right now, but it answers Opposing Saga, and it answers Unlicensed Hearse, and it answers Blood Moon, and it answers Hammer Time cards. It just hits so much, and it's fetchable off Urza Saga, has artifact synergies. The card is just phenomenal. The card is so good. Ooh. So we go Springleaf Drum into Needle Cookbook Asmo next turn. Seems great. I guess I could also go Cookbook this turn for an extra food. So Cookbook into Drum, discard Asmo, Needle. Yeah, so Cookbook's a bit better. Yeah, kills. Yeah, Binding is a huge one too. It just does so much. It does so much for so little. So much for so little. I'm really excited. Honestly, like I think if I end up playing the challenge tomorrow, which I want to, I haven't played a challenge on stream in a long time. I want to play the challenge tomorrow. I want to play the food deck. Oh no, the Mite just totally wrecks my hand here actually. Because now I can't cast the Asmo next turn. So I guess that was a reason to wait. Although sometimes you just don't ever get punished, I suppose. Rip another cookbook. But I want to play the food deck, splashing green instead of white for the mites. Where mite is just like, it seems like that is probably the best Haywire Mite deck, where it's so good with Emery, it's so good with Unearth, obviously fetchable with Saga, it deals with a lot of problems you have with that archetype. I'm very, very excited for it. Someone last week or the week before submitted a deck with the food deck with the mites, and it just looks so good to me. Okay, one card left in my opponent's hand. I feel like I need to just make a food token this turn. Or sorry, construct token this turn. Can I show the list? I mean, I don't have the list like put together, but it's also like, it's just going to be as simple as swapping the mana base, white for green, play a Haywire Mite over Prismatic Ending. It's really not going to be, I think, like any deeper than that. Maybe one or two more small changes, but you could find the old Esper list in the stream deck are pretty easy. You should be able to. What new cards in the Karn board and Aki Scepter? Probably just Brainstone, Stonebrain, and Haywire Mite. Yeah, this definitely feels like a game where you just want to have bigger constructs than them. I think I don't think I need to grab a Haywire Mite since I'm just going to needle both these cookbooks. I don't have a Saga or anything. Shadow Spear is like the boring card to get, but probably just also the correct card to get here. What time Civ? Yeah, I guess like I'll pull up the list. So like I think it's for the most part the spells in the main deck of this deck are not going to want to change very often. Okay, this hand is very close. Honestly, like we only need one land. We get Mutt to like loot away our Titan. We have Asmo even if we miss land drops. I think this hand is actually keepable. Like this hand is so good if it draws lands and it can afford to miss a land drop or two. Can also draw Mox Amber potentially. Oh my gosh. Okay, force of negation on the cookbook. They snapped that off too. They snapped it so fast. Alright, now we just need to draw land so badly. Oh my gosh. We have some sideboard tech. I guess my hand is pretty resilient to this grief. They probably take the trash for treasure. Yeah. If we draw a land, we're doing okay. Hopefully. Wow, not only did we draw a land, like the best land, huh? They only have 2 cards in their hand also. Kind of feeling alright. And we get a Sundering Titan in the yard against Living End. That's actually pretty good. Second land for the Saga. Let's go. I don't think I'm main decking the Soul Guide Lantern, right? Yeah, not main decking the Lantern. There's another Mutt though. So obviously we could make a Saga token here. I think that just plays into their Living End game plan a bit too well, and getting an Asmo into the yard feels like something I actively want to do. So let's do something that I actively want to do, and get a cookbook. Does feel kind of bad that we have the Sundering Titan in the yard, and my opponent has played 2 fast lands, but not the end of the world either. Yeah, this trash deck has been like very fun to play and like pretty good too. Maybe this is the deck I'll play in the challenge tomorrow. Kind of depends on, I guess, how we do today, huh? Okay, so again, we have the option of making a construct. I feel like potentially the Fable of the Mirror Breaker is going to be a better choice this turn. Yeah, I think I just don't want to play into the living end by making a token. I think I am going to get Shadow Spear. Shadow Spear on the Sundering Titan feels like it'll be like a good plan post living end. And then we're attacking for 7 and then 9, so for 16 total. So maybe, maybe making a Saga token and just having lethal next turn is also would have also been fine. Am I streaming that tomorrow? Yeah, I'm currently planning on streaming the challenge tomorrow. I'm unsure if I'm going to play this or something else, but that is the current plan. Okay, let's discard maybe Portal plus Fable. I think the Cookbook can play as a discard outlet if I draw another creature is pretty nice, although now I'm just definitely going to try to get lethal here. So this should be exactly 11. They have Beseiju? They have Petty Theft, okay. So Cookbook will let me get one more creature if they do living in here, although now shock lands are at least turned off for the third for outs for them to living end. Wow, okay. I could not. This game felt like very unwinnable when it started, where my opponent forced my Cookbook and I had a one lander, and then they griefed me, and then everything was fine. So Emperion I think is really good in this matchup, where if you just discard this card, it's going to be something you have to deal with before they can kill you. I think the Ensnaring Bridge is good as well. I've seen a lot of living in players playing Leyline of the Void, so I think I want at least one Haywire Mite. I don't know if I want both, but I think I do want at least the first copy. Dragon Engine is pretty good against them too, or good enough for sure. I think these Portal to Phyrexias are likely pretty bad. Maybe cut both of those. I think the God-Pharaoh statue is also okay as like maybe our main trash for treasure target, although we probably just want to get one of these in the yard a bit more aggressively. Maybe we actually just go like cut the God-Pharaoh statue, and cut the fourth trash for treasure. Just to be like a bit more off that plan. It could cut like the research desk. Cut the fourth Fable too. Portal lets us use their creatures. Yeah, I just don't think that. I think that's too slow and like dopey against living end. I could be wrong. I feel like it'd be pretty easy for them to beat. We're expecting Leyline. I have one Haywire Mite if they have Leyline. I'm not sure if they're on Leyline at the moment, so we can maybe bring in more if we end up thinking that's something they're gonna have. Okay, keep this on 6. We do need to draw land, but this hand is really good where we have Cookbook, Platinum Emperion, we have Void Mirror, we have mostly just that, I guess. Now we also have a Soul Guide Lantern. Thoughts on stubbing Tireless Tracker over Nettle Cyst in recent green-red Pawns list. What was nice about Nettle Cyst was that it was something you could find off Ancient Stirrings. But I don't know. I think Tireless Tracker is, I think Magic players for the most part overrate that card by a decent amount. It's not a card that I think is something that you're very incentivized to be playing these days. It's okay. But it's kind of like just okay, Is there a command for this deck that are just artifact value? I mean, it's value, and then you have like this very flashy, over-the-top trash for treasure plan, if that makes sense. So you have your Saga, Asmo, Ragavan, Fable of the Mirror Breaker, Goblin Engineer, Mono Red Artifact Shell with trash for treasure as like a big way to go over the top. It's the general idea. Yeah, no need to discard yet. Yeah, let's go ahead and just go Asmo Cookbook. We're playing the second Portal over Power Conduit. Yes, I've since cut the Power Conduit. I think that it should be correct in the Stream Decker. Power Conduit's fine. It's fine. It's really something that you're like pretty happy to draw naturally a lot of the time, and you're not tutored for that often. It's also true like this deck's mana curve got raised from the last time we were playing this deck before and you just don't have enough as much room for cards like that where it feels like you don't have as much room where like Mutt, you have so many 2-drops. You have 4 Mutt, 4 Engineer, and I'm not sure how you fit in it. Yeah, I would thank you, sweetie. Okay, Daredevil's a nice pickup. I do think I need to prioritize casting the Lantern this turn. If I put it as Endurance, it's not the end of the world. Since we at least get to kill it with the Asmo. Yeah, with Void Mirror, Lantern, feeling great here. Okay, it's fine. Barely does anything. Barely an inconvenience. I mean, if they Endurance to get rid of Emperion, it just doesn't matter that much since we have, again, you know, Lantern and Void Mirror in play. Like, it's not great for us, but just not, you know, that relevant, really. Okay. Just like our third, like we have 3 lines of defense currently against Living End. We have the Void Mirror, the Lantern, the Emperion. Just a lot has to go right for them. Okay, let's just discard the Mutt so I don't lose my Daredevil. We do lose the Emperion. That is step 1. They got through one of our 3 lines of defense. Just kill this now. Oh, let me do this now so they can't like Endurance at end of turn. I think this deck's really good. I feel like you know, our first draft was, you know, close to this, but it was still a little rough. And then really once we like the green splash for Haywire Mite really feels like it's just tied the room together for me in a lot of ways. Solved a ton of problems the deck had, and I do feel like the deck looks weird, and like I think mostly what looks weird is the Scrapwork Mutts. Cause I feel like the card looks dopey, if that makes sense. But after playing with the Mutt a bunch, I think the card is just so good. Oh, I guess Lucy left. I was gonna say that Lucy was the Scrapwork Mutt. Yeah, I agree. I agree. It definitely looks dopey. Like even to be like looking at it, it looks dopey in the deck list. But it's just like it's crazy. It's an artifact that that is like +2 cards and is a 2/1 and like powers up the Trash for Treasure plan. It's kind of like unreal how good the Mutt is in this deck. It's like with Daredevil, it's very often a like 2/1 creature that is going to provide +2 cards for you over the course of the game. While being like, you know, it's not great pressure, but it's still a 2/1, and it's an artifact in your Saga deck, and it powers up Trash for Treasure plan. It's like it fits so well, but just looking at it, like, I think it's kind of hard to like come to the conclusion that card is crazy. You know what I mean? I feel like it does not fit in very many decks. There's maybe more decks than this, but it is just such a perfect chef's kiss enabler for this archetype. Dope in Dredge. Yeah, maybe interesting in Dredge. I haven't seen any lists, but could you see Finale instead of Mutt? Not sure how important consistent Asmo is. I've always prioritized consistency with this shell. I don't think that like this Asmo is not like your plan A so much. Like it's definitely part of your plan. And another cool, like very small thing about the pathways is you are playing Sundering Titan, so if you have just pathways in play and no mountains, then Sundering Titan can't or doesn't have to blow anything of your own lands up. Just again, very small, but something. Where you're avoiding fetches because of Titan. I mean, that's part of it, but it's also like you just don't need fetch lands. You know what I mean? And like you don't have any extra synergy with fetch lands. Like there's no Red and 6, there's no Mishra's Bauble. And so, fetch lands do have a downside of costing you life. Ooh, turn 1 Ragavan. Why didn't we win the die roll? Well, we're not immune to Immune because we're still a Saga deck, but yeah, Blood Moon is not that scary, necessarily. Not that scary. Tech for ZJ. Post link in chat. I can take a look. Happy to take a look. Thanks a lot. Did the Bugbear. Karn Silex for a type of target. If you don't, yeah. Karn Silex was something that was suggested. One thing is we already have 9 3-mana spells. That is a lot of 3-mana spells. So I'm not completely opposed to it, but I would definitely want to. You'd probably have to cut the Dragon Engine, which would be pretty sad because I really am a believer in the Dragon Engine, but I also feel like I've been cutting it in most matchups, and I haven't had really many moments where it shines, so I could definitely be wrong about the Dragon Engine. Deck tech for Expansion Explosion 2. Okay, I'm gonna leave this back to block instead of casting the Research Desk. Love to discard the Mutt though. Four-color Thopter Anvil. Whoa, you have Reckless Stormseeker in here, baby. Okay, it looks to me like you had at one point more Mishras. You had at one point more Mishras, and you wanted to give it haste with your Stormseeker. Oh man, this deck is all over the place. This deck is all over the place. Okay, 21 lands, 4 colors, blue whites, red black, blue whites, Urza Saga. Holy, your mana is horrible. Your mana is so bad. It is. You're a mountain swamp deck with Faithful Mending Thopter Foundry. Mana is looking terrible. Terrible. That is like the very first thing I see here. I also think that like Reckless Stormseeker is a very underpowered card in Modern. If you're gonna play Reckless Stormseeker to enable Mishra, one of the best things you could be doing in that shell is playing Heartless Summoning, where all of a sudden your Stormseekers cost 1 mana, your Dragon Engine costs 1 mana, your Mishra costs 2 mana, and then you get to do the thing, and you get to do it with a bit more speed. And but Stormseeker by itself, Mishra by itself, these cards are super underpowered, and with no way to tutor these cards, I just don't know why you have one each. You know what I mean? I think that Stormseeker, when you don't draw Mishra, does very little, and I guess for the most part, I'm just not really into it. Cookbook seems kind of nice here. Can like gain 3 life end of turn. Protect this from a bolt. Yeah, maybe it's better to play the Research Desk and like crack Research Desk end of turn, actually. It's a placeholder. I wanted to see if the idea was good first. I see. I see. So yeah, so if you want to do that, play Heartless Summoning and you have to be very in on it if you're going to do it. So like I haven't gotten any farther than this, but Heartless Summoning, Dragon Engine, Stormseeker, Mishra seems like it could be like a way to do that plan. It does not seem like it would be very likely a good plan, but it would like get the job done. You know what I'm saying? Man, they're really stealing my constructs, huh? So, but for the most part, I will be off of it in this shell. I also, like, I basically never play Urza Saga anymore in my Oni Cult Anvil lists, and I feel like the only way you can play Thopter Foundry Oni Cult Anvil is with no Urza Saga to make the mana work. You can still play like a bunch of Springleaf Drums because they're pretty good with the tokens from Thopter Foundry and Anvil, but I don't think you can play Saga in this deck. It's really just like not that good, I found. The Fulminator Mages and the Unearth seem like really dopey. I think you have too many Dragon Engines. Hold on. So let me play this Ragavan. And then... yeah, I think all I could do is make another Saga token. Feeling very tempoed this game, huh? So 4-color get off Saga, yeah, exactly. And I've got lots of, like... I have lots of Oni Cult Anvil Thopter Foundry shells you can look at the Stream Decker and get some inspiration for. Okay. Is it scam? Seems cool. Essence Flux with Fury and Subtlety. I think I would probably just like... I see this list and I really want to find like one more creature that you can flicker for value, but I don't know that there is another good one. Less no just be to commit, melding the Unearth and Thopter ideas too much. Yes, you can't do both. You have to do one or the other. Okay, so now we are chump blocking and going to 1. Jeez. This is definitely one of those games where play draw just like mattered so much. And we were not on the right side of it. Mole Drifter, Arcane Proxy is not good to flicker. You only get Arcane Proxy with the cast trigger. If you cast it from your hands. I don't know how we're gonna get out of this. So I can go make a Saga token, get a Shadow Spear equip, but then I'm 1 mana short of also sacrificing a food. So they have to float a mana. This does not feel that good. And hope to find like Portal off the Mutt loot, and then loot it away here. I still don't have enough mana. Second food in combat. I don't have enough mana to make a Saga token, equip the Shadow Spear, and sack a food. Even I'm counting the Springleaf Drum mana. Spyro, yeah, Spyro makes sense. Spyro's a good flicker target for that, for the deck tech. I'm pretty sure we just have to settle this in sideboard game. Yeah, the problem is the DRC. I mean, I even don't know that would be enough, even without the DRC, to be honest, but let's just go to sideboard game. It's fine. You lose some games to Murktide like that. I'm going to bring in the Ensnaring Bridge. I'm going to bring in Platinum Emperion, which is actually really good against them. I think the first copy of Mite can be okay. Like, sometimes you can snipe an Engineered Explosive. Sometimes you can't hit a Blood Moon. Sometimes hitting a Dress Down is relevant. Not that often, though. Usually want to cut the Mamber. I might just submit this, though. This seems okay. Let me just submit this, and then for game 3. Oh, I guess they have Hearse, too. Yeah, so I need to bring in at least one. Maybe I'm cutting the 4th trash. Maybe do something like this. Just trim on the trash plan a bit. It's probably our weakest part. Is it a bad idea to replace Ragavan for the 1/1 that makes the blood token again the looting effect? I think that card's fine. I don't think it's a bad idea, especially if it's for budget. Yeah, here I really want to see Seasoned Pyromancer if you're going to be in on this Essence Flux plan. I think that's a good suggestion. So like Seasoned Pyromancer over Ledger Shredder. And then probably like 4 Fury, 4 Spyro, 1 Subtlety. You could put more Subtleties in the main. But like Essence Flux Subtlety is like, it's just like not that good, you know what I mean? I think I've been favoring like 3/1 Flusterstorm Surgery in these decks. Not like a really big thing though. Oh, I don't like Chalice of the Void very much in Murktide shells. Like you just have all the cheap counter spells. I don't think this is something you want. You probably just play Dress Down in those spots. The Stream Decker has no Dragon Engine. I can take a look. Does it have something over that? 38. Yeah. Good catch. It won't load that in Mishra. I see. How did the Karuga Fires Pioneer deck go? I mean, it was okay. The thing about Fires and Pioneers, it's all kind of the same. Where you win the die roll, you curve out, you draw your Fires, you feel like you're a god, you feel like you like literally can't lose, and it doesn't really matter like what version of Fires you're playing. If you do those things, you win the die roll, you curve out, you draw your Fires, you just feel like a god. And if you don't do those things, you feel like a dummy. And I don't know. It's just like the Kruga, the Gruul. I like the Gruul version that's like all in top land, so you get to like curve out more often. But that has definitely been my experience with the shell so far. Okay, I'm just gonna put. Well, I could put Dragon Engine in the yard here. This is maybe a good spot for Dragon Engine. The Haywire Mite too. I do want to be like trying Dragon Engine more often, just like grabbing it and try to get a feel. But thinking about how Rag seems okay here, unless I'm missing something. Can't be copied by Fable. Can't really protect it. Doesn't feel the curve. Really thoughts. You can protect. Well, you can get. You have Asmo to remove opposing blockers if that's what you mean by can't really protect it. I think I'm okay if they dash Ragavan this turn. So yeah, so I think I disagree with that point. It's also like Ragavan. Ragavan is an insane magic card. I actually do think it's good on the curve. Like you just want to have a low aggressive curve as possible, I think. And hold on. I think we're gonna get to do the Dragon Engine thing. You get to have like a very, very low aggressive curve with it, and it also is enabling you to have extra art. Like Ragavan and artifact decks is extra good. You know what I mean? Where like Ragavan is good independent of the artifact synergies. That card just like passively makes treasures in your like Urza Saga deck. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, it's also like you can't play Mox Amber without Ragavan. The Mox Amber is like kind of nice to have access to in the trash deck. It's not like a mandatory thing though. Okay, I think I'm gonna engineer on my second main phase just so I don't get got by Dress Down. Why do people like Murktide so much? People are just addicted to blue-red tempo decks. What can I say? Wow, the fourth Fable. Okay, that was pretty good. Dead Engineer. Uh-oh, but they just have a Murktide. 8/8 Murktide, too. It's pretty bad. Okay, so do I play this cookbook or not? I think I play the cookbook. Expansion Explosion, 10 months, like, thank you. Is blue-red not good anymore? Blue-red Murktide? Murktide's a good deck. And using the Titania list. I've honestly like been very stuck like lately. I've gone down like several rabbit holes, and I feel like I'm very close to like 3 or 4 different like new brews, and I just am stuck on all of them, I guess. All right, taking 8. Okay, like drawing a Daredevil here. It's actually probably the best, one of the best draws. 5, 6, 7. We are really not that far away from hardcasting this portal to Phyrexia. Oh, well, we're a bit further if they're gonna kill my Goblin Shaman. My Brewing Green White Reclaimer Titania. Yeah, that's what I've been trying to do. It's a very difficult deck to build, and what's tough is, like, I've played a lot of decks like it in the past, and I just don't know that the new Titania necessarily even makes the deck better. And, like, thank you, expansion again for the 10 months. And then, like, one big issue with, like the biggest issue I kind of have been finding is that, maybe I'm supposed to crack a treasure token, clue token rather than Gigantha here. Fruit token. But sorry, but one big issue I've been finding basically, in like no matter what shell I'm working on, is I kind of feel like that maybe Titania is just better as a tutor target. I saw Dingo play like one Titania, one of the land in an Elvish Reclaimer green-black Traverse list, and that's fine. It's just like not as exciting. You know what I mean? But that may be fine. Do you think it's a deck to build the ground up and take one of Fran's list and dial it down? I mean, I have, you know, I've worked on the archetype in the past. So I guess I don't really understand the question. Too bad Sylvan Scrying Argoth. Yeah, I think Reclaimer's fine. Sylvan Scrying is a really dopey card. Okay, I like having Mox Amber here. Hopefully we hit something off the Ragavan, though. Blood Crypts. Can just Gigantha next turn. Turn 3 Gigantha. I don't know if I've ever turned 3 Gigantha before. I'm not too convinced the meld is all that powerful when you pull it off. The meld is super powerful when you pull it off. I think that that's one thing I disagree with. The meld is crazy. It's just, I think it's harder to pull off than I expected, though. Okay, Goblin Engineer is the best draw. Shinka's kind of interesting. Makes them, I get to trade Ragavan for 2 blockers. If Gigantha is a bug, could use its mana cast, but you should be able to. Just, this is not a generic cost. Alright, got some good draws still. Okay, punish. I guess yes. Can I guess is this fixed now? Looks like the bug is fixed. Just gonna attack though. Maybe just get comboed. Would it be too hard on the mana to get some refurbish? It would be not easy on the mana. And refurbish is like, you know, 1 extra mana is a lot more. I've considered it. But 4 mana, like, you know, Breath of Life is pretty underpowered in this format too. Okay, down a game. I think I want 1 Mite for vials and stuff. Gonna bring in a Pithing Needle. Platinum Emperion plus like Needle on Snoop is, I guess they have Trash Master. Maybe I'm just like not that worried about their Goblin beatdown plan. Like my Sagas should probably be able to like beat their creatures in combat pretty easily. Can bring in these Pyrite Spellbombs. I don't want the Sundering Titan. I think I maybe just on Portal is fine. Again, you could bring in the Emperion. That's probably not too bad. Maybe not good enough, though. I think I'm down to trim a Fable. Down to trim a Mutt. Maybe okay to trim the Dusk, too. Yeah, it's right. Yeah, well, we're on the play with Ragavan, but I agree. I actually agree that trimming Ragavan is probably correct. Maybe if I'm trimming Ragavan, I cut the Amber. Forgot how bad Ragavan is against goblins. Okay, we can keep this. Lead on the Springleaf Drum. Am I gonna do more exploring with coding control, or is that list where I wanted to be? I liked the last list. It was really fun though, so I'm like very likely to play it again. You know. Okay, Crater Maker. Sure. Okay, once again, kind of out of action. Shout out to Gigantha. Llama, 21 months, thank you. So I'd love to get to trade the Mutt for a Goblin here if I don't draw anything. Just, you know, get a little bit deeper in the deck. I think there's a good chance they just take 2, though. Yeah. Seems correct. Now for the powerful hardcast Ovalchase Daredevil. Is using a TFT on the cookbook. Not even worth it, even though I have 2. I mean, on this board, I feel like I'd rather just cast the Ovalchase Daredevil, but if I draw an Asmo, I can Treasure Treasure on the cookbook. I think that'd be fine, and he discards Gigantha. Could also block here. I think I'm not going to do that, though. They probably double block with the War Marshals, although now this Pyrite Spellbomb kind of makes that that block annoying for them. Yeah, I think we just let this happen. I could also maybe Pyrite Spellbomb my own Mutt. No, that's just not as good as drawing a card. I think I'll just draw a card. Alright. Very weird game. Very weird game so far. But pretty clearly very flooded. Likely kept on the strength of Goblin Crater Maker. Let's go ahead and cycle this again. We have so many good draws. Go Gigantha. They may have a munitions expert here. That's definitely a card they could have been holding on to, so that'd be good for them. They don't seem to have it though. And if they do play a Snoop, I can trash for treasure a Pyrite Spellbomb. I can also fire up Den of the Bugbear. Okay, drawing Asmo is amazing. Would Goblin Welder be too busted in Modern? Welder would be really, really good. I'd say that, you know, in a format that's already kind of like warped around Ragavan, like Ragavan is a card that is a 1 mana 1 toughness red creature that needs to be killed on sight. So I guess the big difference between Welder, of course, and Ragavan is that like you can block Ragavan, you can't block Goblin Welder. Okay, let's unearth the Mutt. Opponent's draw was so bad this game. Ooh, another Mutt. It is true, Welder blocks Ragavan. I mean, I don't think Goblin Welder is a card that you'll ever see in Modern, you know, knock on wood, I guess, but I just don't think it'd be like red. I would be shocked if they printed any busted 1-mana red creatures into Modern anytime soon. Like, but I was shocked. Although I was also shocked when they did it in Modern Horizons 2, where before Image 2, Soulscar Mage and Swift Spear were like the best creatures for 1 mana by a lot, and then that it just got so exacerbated. The hand's very close. We have Engineer plus Trash. We have a 1-lander though, so I'm thinking of a mulligan. You can keep some 1-landers, of course, but like you can keep 1-landers that have a plan. That one just didn't really have a plan. So I maybe, if I don't draw anything, I maybe have to wait until turn 3 to Mutt so I can use Mutt as a discard enabler for Asmo. I may just be, dead. Hey Emma, how's it going? If I was designing Image 3 cards, what cards would I reprint into Modern? Okay, I feel like I just have to cast my stupid spell, but not the worst. Very likely dead though. The plan was making a bunch of food. We couldn't make a bunch. We had no Asmo in our hand. Oh, just food with no Asmo. Sure, I guess. If we had Asmo, I would have kept that hand. Okay, we have a turn 3. It looks like, and then we can Asmo to, or we can threaten to kill this. I think I'm just probably gonna just kill it. Oh no, they have Munitions Expert. The Confluences? I don't know, maybe. I think for the most part, I'm not like really dying for a Modern Horizons 3 that is full of reprints. I feel like I would like cards that I think for the most part, cards that could be reprinted into Modern have been. There's a few exceptions, but I think for the most part, there's not very many like legacy only, EDH only cards. I think that would make Modern a more enjoyable format, if that makes sense. Innocent Blood's one I don't hate actually, but do you think the Lord of the Rings set could be a secret MH3 set? I don't know. They've said that like it's not going to be super impactful, but I don't know. Like something I've really learned. I learned this from Andrea Mingucci. Wizards mostly does things at random. Wizards mostly does things at random. I think that was like one of the wisest things I've ever heard. And so like it's also like it can be very easy to read too much into like one sentence in like a ban announcement or like a set announcement and hear them say that it's going to be not that impactful. But the reality is, who knows, right? Okay, I got max punish for not playing my Amber, although I get to do this. As long as they're sexy, you know what I mean? As long as they're sexy, I'm happy. As long as we get sexy Gandalf, sexy Sam, sexy Frodo, I'll be happy. Gandalf being another Planeswalker? Gandalf being a Planeswalker makes sense. Maybe. It'd be cool if you have like Gandalf the Grey, and then like when Gandalf the Grey dies, it like transforms to Gandalf the White. I'm kind of deranged and Lord of the Rings will be modern legal. Eh. Sometimes you just have to find some inner peace, you know. Wow, Nettle Cyst. Nettle Cyst is kind of great, but I feel like I just have to play Fable this turn. So Gandalf the White on the front and then flips as a Planeswalker. That'd be kind of cool. Like, honestly, like, if it was almost any other IP, there's very few other IPs that I would be, like, pretty happy coming to, like, Magic as, like, a mainstay. But, like, Lord of the Rings is just, like, It's Lord of the Rings, you know what I mean? It's hard to get like more prestigious than that. If anything, I feel like Lord of the Rings fans should be upset that like their beloved characters have to go fight in the multiverse, you know what I'm saying? Wow, this is the greediest attack I've seen in a long time. Is there a Lord of the Rings TCG? That might be. Pally. Okay, I think I'm supposed to trash for treasure my Dragon Engine. It's kind of tempting to play second Asmo, though. Alright, let's pass back. Does Asmo get to exile the Cauldron because of the exile clause? This is only combat damage, the exile, so unfortunately no. But you can get a Shadow Spear and then Asmo the Cauldron and get rid of it that way. I'm increasingly salty about them pulling external IPs. It's just the flavor of Magic. I don't like the monetization of the game, so it should make a good product. Yeah, I agree. To some extent. You know, like one kind of tough thing about Magic, right, is like when it's going in a direction you don't like, it is like really easy to just sit and maul about it. To just sit and maul to get like more upset and like grumpier and more toxic over time. But it's just like at the end of the day, like you just don't have that much control. You have like no control. And like, you know, one of the most frustrating things in life is when you're like dying for control over something you have no control over. That is like the easiest formula for frustration in life. And I'm not saying you can't complain about it on the internet, but there's no peace for you either, probably. We still have control. We as customers have some control. Maybe, I guess. Probably just casting 2 Daredevils. Weird game. The problem with that attitude is like imagining the Magic player base as some kind of unified front that is in any way a wieldy group, and you don't have nothing but arguing and infighting and people, you know, who just like can't agree on anything. It's just like, yeah, maybe not. Because like I don't really mind the other IPs being a Magic, you know what I mean? And most people I think just don't mind. I think most people in Magic have like some things that they dislike about the game and some things they dislike about the way things are being released, but it's just like not that possible to get people super unified on stuff on most things. GPM, thank you for the 12 months, appreciate you. Welcome back. What I'm gathering is you can either cope or maul. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, you could also just like, you know, I think the best thing to do is if you're like upset, about like the direction Wizards is taking Magic, if you're upset about like the products that are being released, if you're upset about the IP stuff, is just become less invested in Magic. You know what I mean? If there's something in life that you are upset about, if there's something in life that you are, you know, if you think it's bad, it's like it's I think it's a lot better to just like emotionally detach yourself from it than it is to maul and to get like super like toxic and frustrated and upset. It's just better to like take a breath and detach yourself, you know? Which is maybe easier said than done, but most things in life are easier said than done, I guess. Yeah, I agree with that too, Joe Mama. Like for me at least, like I've never really found the Magic lore to be very compelling or interesting. There's like some elements that are like cool-ish for sure, But there's for the most part I've just never been like that enamored with it. I enjoy the aesthetics of MTG more than lore. I think that's a fine stance to have. But so the Mold to 6. And also like as far as the Lord of the Rings set comes on, like does it come out this like in 2023 or 2024? I can't even remember. But it's just like we can pass judgment on it when we see the set. You know, when we see the set, we can pass judgment on it, and it's just like putting that energy into it now, complaining about it now. It's just not necessary. We can complain about it later. Is there any way to play a functional Jeskai control? Or is it too worse than blue-white control outside of your Bloodstone version? I think that this is something that I really, really recommend players in Modern, like, if you're going to be like super attached to a specific color combination, that's fine. But I really strongly recommend if you are going to get like, you know, really attached to a color combination, like play it because you like the colors, but for the most part you just need to like acknowledge that you shouldn't force specific color combinations for like Jeskai control. Like Lightning Helix, Electrolyze are just like the old school Jeskai control deck is not something that's like very close to viable in Modern right now. And that's also like okay. That's also okay because blue-white control is like as good as it's ever been in Modern, or like close to it as good as it's ever been. It's just like kind of time, in my opinion, to move on from like wanting to play like Snapcaster Helix control, move on to like, you know, just like Leyline Binding control. And like you will win a lot more and you will find more success with your favorite archetypes in Modern if you just don't get too attached to specific color combos. They didn't protect. Yeah. I played the Pyrite Spellbomb first so I could kill the Stoneforge Mystic, and I thought that they would at least like walk through the motions here. So it is kind of interesting that they just like chose not to do that, you know. Excuse me. So here I'm going to engineer a portal to Phyrexia in the yard, and then I'm going to Haywire Mite their Saga. And I think I do it after they make a token. Because I get a blacksmith skill. What if you enjoy Tron? You can play Tron. What I'm saying is, I get this kind of question all the time. Like, people asking for, like, specifically Black-Green Rock, Abzan Rock, Jeskai Control, Sultai Control. It's like, you can play Control. You can play Midrange. You can play, like, whatever archetype you want. It just might not be in the exact color combo you want. I mean, so, like, there's almost never been, like, a playable Sultai deck in Modern. There's been, like 3 or 4 lifetime ever. And I just think just like forcing color combos to work in Modern is just for the sake of you liking the color combos is not something I recommend. Is an Emperion better on this board than Portal? The problem with Emperion is you just died to Inkmoth Nexus is my main issue with it. And my opponent's gonna have like 2 or 3 creatures that I want to get off the board. Oh, maybe chump blocking here is good because I want the engineer in the yard to reanimate. It's kind of interesting. Although the Pyrite Spellbomb is really nice with the engineer too. Why do people you think Sultai has never succeeded in Modern before? It's just like, I don't know. I just don't think you should really think that much about specific color combos as an overall archetype. Modern is just like too nitty and complex, and there's so much stuff going on. It's just so hard to like hyper focus on Sultai. It's just too big of a question. Yeah. Sultai Uro is the one main example I can think of a playable Sultai deck. Sultai Infect I've seen do okay sometimes. Yeah, Sultai bring to light Valky, but it's very, very, very few and far between playable Sultai decks. Yeah, exactly. Archetypes way over color combos, especially because archetypes, that's what the gameplay is, the archetypes. Wow, Needle on Nixus here is nuts. Oh man, this is crazy. Portal plus Haywire Mite is so sick. Judd does both? Sure. So name Incuboth Nexus. Mite the Saga. That's true. The Asmo food deck without white will be Soul Tide. Maybe we'll play that next, just because like I'm pretty heavily considering it for the challenge tomorrow. You know. So if they attack, I'm going to chump block so I can reanimate it and get a Emperion in the yard. I think. Monarchy tomorrow. What I bring? Probably the. The food deck. I know it's kind of untested, but I'm like really hyped on Haywire Mite. But I would play test it some. Haywire Mite Abiding Grace. That's kind of interesting. I don't think it's something you can like that can't be the whole deck, but that is like if you're playing an Abiding Grace deck, you should have Haywire Mite. And so maybe we take an extra look at the any deck that could maybe want to play Abiding Grace. Portal is really good though. Okay. We got into a really weird game the other day where we had Platinum Emperion in play, and then they had a giant life-linking Sanctifier in vac. Is the Pioneer version of this deck with Refurbish and Arms Race viable? I don't know. Maybe. Kind of, maybe a bit of a cop-out of an answer, but it's true. Maybe. Yeah, the problem with like Turbo Frog, like Recurring Spore Frog with Abiding Grace is like recursive fogs just don't beat that many decks in Modern. You know what I mean? It beats some stuff, but it just doesn't really beat enough for you to be like, this is my plan. This is my plan, baby. Okay. So 3-2 that league. I was hoping for a bit better after the 2-0 start, but I am definitely liking this deck a lot. It's felt pretty good. Does have some clunky draws, but you know what deck doesn't, right? I do want to play a league with the Esper Food deck. Today's kind of a weird day.